Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back. The Dragonhold patch has dropped on the public test server, and with the new patch, of course, ZeniMax has a fresh set of patch notes for us with a whole bunch of changes, and I've read them already, and we're going to go through them together, and my impressions off the bat, I will say, I like these changes. I'm not going to lie. For PvP, I think this is going to be a much better patch than the Scale Breaker patch was. However, there are some things that I want to talk about, and we'll get into that, of course, as we go through each individual change. So let's get into it, guys. And where's a better place to start than the new item sets that are introduced with this patch? And the new sets are very attractive to me personally because a lot of them are max stat sets that offer some max stat options that we haven't seen before. And we have some interesting new changes to some existing sets as well. So let's begin. We're going to start off with the Marauder's Haste set. This is a new light armor set. Mag recovery, max mag recovery, really nice 2, 3, 4. And then when you cast a damage shield, increase your movement speed by 20% for 9 seconds. This is very cool. Now, light armor typically is slower than medium armor, but a set like this gives light armor a very good movement option that it didn't have before. Now, 20% is a massive movement speed bonus, but you do give up a 5-piece essentially for this. So I'm not sure how good this set is going to be, to be honest. I think 20% is a huge movement speed increase versus something like medium armor, just giving you 15% on your sprint if you have 5 medium on. Yeah, this is going to be interesting to see how this set kind of plays out. I personally think we might see this decrease to 15%. But you know, you never know. Let's see. The next set we got is Dragon Guard Elite. We've got weapon crit, weapon damage, and stamina recovery. A nice offensive 2, 3, 4 piece with a bit of sustain, and then you gain a stack of Dragon Guard tactics for 5 seconds when you deal direct damage to an enemy from the front or the sides, and up to 5 stacks. Each stack of Dragon Guard tactic increases your weapon crit by 476, and you can gain 1 stack every 5 seconds. So I'm going to assume this functions like the other stack sets, so if you get another stack, it reapplies the overall duration of all stacks up until you go for a full 5-second period without applying a new stack, or when you get to max stacks and it expires. 476 weapon crit times by 5, that's almost 2,500 weapon critical. It's going to be just shy of 2,400 weapon crit. That's a lot, you know. That's more than you'd get if you were running a set piece here that gave you just flat weapon crit. So it's more than the Tezovakin set, I think, as well. So a huge amount of weapon crit coming from this set. I really like this. And the fact that it procs from up front or the sides, synergizing really well with our Fighters Guild Minor Berserk, where we attack from the sides to get that Berserk. So really nice for that, I think. Now, the next set that we have is the Essential Defender. And max stam, max health, max mag, so we just get max stat out of the base, which is nice for tanks. And then dealing direct damage with a non-heavy attack grants you 1 persistent stack of Essentials Duty, up to 10 stacks. After dealing damage with a fully charged heavy attack, you restore 535 stamina and magicka for each stack on you, and you consume them, and you can only gain 1 stack every 1 second. So I think the sustain on this set is going to be really good too. Yeah, it's basically 535 magicka and stamina every 1 second if you can get this on cooldown. So we'll see how this kind of plays out. For PvP, I like this set because you're not going to be able to deal with some targets and use this set effectively against them if they're really fast. But if you're dealing with a slower target, it'll be very easy for you to keep this set up. So yeah, interesting set. The next set that we have is the Ancient Dragon Guard, and this guy's going to give us max health, weapon, and spell damage. It gives us weapon and spell crit, and then on the 5-piece, we gain 300 weapon and spell damage while we're over 50% health, and then when we're below 50% health, we gain 3,460 physical and spell resistance. This is a really cool set. I really like this because we have things like vampirism and stuff in the game with mechanics like undeath, and this would play really well into something like a vampire that wants to be very offensive but still have the ability to be very bulky and utilize that undeath passive that it has. I really like this. This is such a cool set. This is pretty much like, you know, a mix between a Hunding's Rage and the Fortified Brass set, but you get the best of both worlds depending on where your hit points are sitting at. And, of course, it gives you the weapon or spell damage, which is really awesome. So this is a hybrid option, a magicka, a stamina option, doesn't matter. Really, really cool set, and it's a crafted set. Yeah, these new sets, I'm not going to lie, they did a great job with these new sets. They are very, very exciting new sets. Now, the next set we've got is the Daring Corsair, and this is going to give us Stam Recovery, Mag Recovery, Weapon and Spell Crit, and reduce the cost of our weapon abilities by 10% Magicka or Stamina, so depending on what weapon you have equipped, obviously. And then after casting a weapon ability, you gain Minor Heroism for 8 seconds, and on an 8-second cooldown. Very, very cool set. 10% cost reduction. Depending on how many weapon abilities you're using, this could be huge for your sustain, and Minor Heroism on top of it. Wow, this is a really cool set, and I like this because it's, yet again, a very powerful set, but it's only powerful on kind of the right spec, with the right setup, with the right kind of way to do it. And I really like sets like that. You know, they're kind of situational in a way, and it makes them good for some classes or not so good for other classes. So I really like this. If you're playing anything that's really heavy on weapon abilities, it's a very cool set to open up. You know, just in general. And then we've got the next new set, the New Moon Acolyte. And out of all the new sets, this one is the most exciting for me. Weapon spell crit, weapon spell damage, physical spell penetration. So we've got right off the bat an incredibly offensive 2-3-4 piece, and it's both. It's Magicka and Stamina. What an incredible 2-3-4 piece. This does not exist in the game. This is pretty unheard of for a 2-3-4 piece in just Magicka or Stamina sets. To get the weapon crit, the weapon damage, and the physical penetration is quite rare. So really interesting right off the bat. And then the 5-piece, we get 481 weapon and spell damage. Just flat, you know, just a flat 481 weapon spell damage, but it increases the cost of our active abilities by 5%. This is incredible. So let's talk about the specifics of this set, because there's actually a little bit going on behind the scenes here, and it makes this set a little bit better than it looks, and it's already very strong. So first of all, you can't have a better 2-3-4 piece offensively. This is the best in the game. Maybe if you had another penetration line, but yeah, this is so ideal. That's all I can say. Second of all, 481 weapon spell damage. There is no set in the game that gives you that flat bonus of either weapon or spell damage, much less both. And then just for no condition. That's insanity. Now, let's look at the cost of your active abilities by 5%. This is where the set kind of gets the drawback, because it is such a powerful upfront statistic set. It's massive. A 5% cost increase definitely has an impact on your sustain. However, the thing about this is it's your active abilities. This is not everything. So your roll dodge and your block, your kind of stamina defensive utilities will not have their cost increased, which I think is very important to note, because especially on something like a medium armor build, you use a lot of those things to stay alive, and you use your active abilities more for attacking. So yeah, really interesting set. I'm not going to lie. This might be a little bit OP. We'll have to see how it plays out. The cost increase, you know, 5% is not massive, but it definitely weighs down this big damage bonus that we get here. But the fact that it works really well for things like a medium armor build, and even something like frost staff blocking or sword and shield blocking, we don't get the cost increase, is very important. Very cool set, man. Exciting for not only my damage builds that I like to play, but hybrids as well. Really cool stuff. Now, moving on to the changes to 3-piece item sets, there are some pretty exciting changes here, and I really like this because these agility, willpower, the blessing of the potential, eagle eye, all these sets were very unpopular sets, and that's part of why ZeniMax said they updated these sets. And yeah, I really like this. Now, let's start with agility, and we're going to talk about this max stat value right here, 1752 max stam now. It was 1451 and 193 weapon damage. The max stam got increased drastically, and the weapon damage just by a little bit. This is really good, though. So the big thing about this old agility, the 1451 max stam, is that if you were going to run agility on medium armor as just a 2-piece set, if you ran an agility greatsword in medium armor, just the 2-piece set with 1 fighter's guild skill on, you would get way less damage and healing than if you just ran a simple 1-piece 129 weapon damage instead of this max stam. Now, if you do the math, that 129 weapon damage works out to be just a little shy of this value right here, 1752 max stam. So this actually makes agility BIS for damage and healing on a 2-piece burst slot, which is really nice. It just wasn't before because of how weapon damage scaled. So this huge buff to its max stat here is a really nice thing for medium armor builds, I think. And it's going to be even better when we look at the willpower changes for mag builds, because they can stack a little bit more maximum stamina. Now, the weapon damage increase, of course, not a lot, but it's a little bit here. The big change to the agility set is, of course, in that 2-piece set, and I think that's what ZeniMax had in mind, was looking at that 2-piece single item slot. But we still have, of course, that very high 3-piece weapon damage bonus. This is a lot of damage to come out of the agility set now. To be honest, it makes it a very attractive 3-piece that I think a lot of people will want to implement in their builds. Taking a look at our next set here, we've got Blessing of the Potentate. Reduce the damage taken from players by 5% and reduce the cost of ultimates by 15%. So the ult cost reduction is now 5% better than it was. We lose the stamina recovery, but we get the damage reduction from players. Honestly, this new Blessing set is way better. The damage reduction here is definitely worth more than the stamina recovery. You can easily supplement that somewhere else in your build. So yeah, really, really good set, the Blessing of Potentates now. I'm not going to lie. I think we'll see a lot of this as well. Taking a look at the next set, we've got 833 weapon crit and then 1829 weapon crit to direct damage ranged abilities. That's a 9% weapon crit increase bonus to your direct damage ranged abilities. So if you're playing like a bow heavy build, this is a very cool new set. Now, it used to increase the range of your bow abilities, which had some kind of trolly implications, like, you know, back in the day, you could have a super long-range magnum shot, but I guess everybody has that now, so this set didn't really have as much merit as it used to. But yeah, I think this change to Eagle Eye here is really attractive. This is a massive amount of weapon crit to get on the 3-piece, and it opens up a very interesting approach to building kind of a ranged stamina build. So I'd love to see this set incorporated in some damage builds in the future. Now, taking a look at the Endurance set, we get maximum health and 618 health recovery. It's no longer stamina recovery. Now, the max health, of course, has been buffed up by quite a bit. That's a huge amount of max health for the 2-piece. So max health tank's going to love that. And this health recovery, man, that is massive. If you're going to get health recovery from 2, 3, 4-piece in a regular set, it's 129 health recovery. Comparatively to the other 3-piece sets, you know, we got 129 weapon damage. This is going up to 206, so we're getting a buff of, I don't know, maybe 60% bonus weapon damage. This change here to Endurance, this is like 400% additional health recovery. Like, this is a massive, massive, massive amount of health recovery to get from a 3-piece here. They could make this 300 and it would still be comparatively much stronger than all of the other flat stat sets that we've seen here. So that's something that I'm going to say about this set. That's a huge amount of health recovery. Now, health recovery is kind of a mixed bag because it's not very good in PvE, and in PvP it is very good because it's not affected by battle spirit. So we'll see how this kind of plays out. For PvP, this can be a little concerning that health recovery could get overboard, but on the flip side, you know, this is a great counter to dots. But once you guys see what they've done to dots this patch, you won't worry too much about it. So taking a look at the next set here, we've got the Grace of the Ancients. 1k max mag, 2,400 maximum magicka on the 3-piece. So this is kind of similar to the health recovery here. This is a lot more maximum magicka on the 3-piece comparatively, statistically, to some of the other sets that we've got here. Now, I honestly think that the willpower version, we'll talk a little bit about it later, but it gives you the flat spell damage, 206, just like our weapon damage, is probably still a better damage option than this max mag. But the amount of shield value this gives you is a lot, and with the way that shields have kind of changed in the past couple patches, you can have huge damage shields, again, at 60% of your max HP value for a damage shield. So you could have like 30k HP and a massive damage shield with sets like this. Now, if you had 60k plus magicka in the previous patch, you will see probably less max mag on your build if you were using the Grace of the Ancients set to get there. There's pretty much like only one build in the game, I think, that would really see a decrease in max mag from this, though. So all in all, this is going to be quite a good set now. Now, moving on to the Vengeance Leech, we've got max health, and then when you kill an enemy, you heal for 2,100 health, and you gain 2,165 mag and stam. A big increase from where it was before at 1505 health, mag, and stamina. So yeah, nice change there. This set is not really good for PvP though. This is more of like a PvE farming set. in which case this is going to be really good. Taking a look at the next set, it is the willpower set, and this was kind of preluded by, of course, the changes to the agility set, which is the stamina counterpart. Big maximum mag increase here, just like the agility counterpart. And something I do want to note is that this set versus the Grace of the Ancients won't give you as good a damage shield, but the fact that the one-piece max mag, or sorry, the two-piece max mag is so high, it means that you're getting way more stat in total out of willpower than you are out of the Grace of the Ancient set. The only issue with the Grace of the Ancient set, of course, is that it affects the damage shields. So I think that approach kind of alleviates my previous concern about this set, but at the same time, you know, this is a huge amount of max mag, and comparatively to a stamina build, if you're just slotting it for the 2-piece, this is better for mag builds, but if you're slotting it for the 3-piece, I think it'll work out to be around the same, because the stam build will get the max weapon damage, which it dips better than the spell damage. So, you know, really good changes, I think, to these sets, though. It'll just make them more attractive. Whether they're too strong or too weak, we'll see. I kind of like where these values are sitting right now, especially the Willpower Agility 2-piece. I do like that these are a very unique 2-piece in the game. And then taking a look at the Wrath of Imperium set, it is the same as the Eagle Eye set, but the Magicka counterpart. Spell crit and then 1829 spell crit, or 9% additional spell critical to your range damage abilities. Really nice. I think this is going to be more popular than the Stam version because we just have more ranged spells in the game than we have ranged stamina abilities. So there we go. Now moving on to item sets that have been changed this patch, quite a few things have happened. Battlefield Acrobat will now apply its cost reduction to block and stealth, which is awesome. I thought it was applying this before, but now it is. The Blood Moon set increased the light attack damage of this bonus to 55% from 30%, and you no longer need to land crits. You just need to land light attacks in order to use this set. The cooldown's been reduced to 15 seconds as well. Very interesting. This set got some pretty huge buffs here. Now, the big change is Fortified Brass for PvP. Reduce the physical spell resistance granted from the 5-piece to 3,460 from 5,170. This is a big nerf to this set. That's about, maybe a 3% armor mitigation change. So you'll be 3% squishier if you were running this set than from before. I really like this change, though. This was way too much armor to give on the 5-piece, just like the changes to things like the protective jewelry that we saw in the Scalebreaker patch. This is normalizing armor value, and especially with the changes that we see to potions, you could potentially push higher armor this patch than you were last patch anyway, so I do like this change to this set. This is such a common set that people run in PvP, and it's just like a bulk set, so I really like that they're kind of making this more balanced. Maybe people will run some other stuff instead. Grand Rejuvenation. This item set will no longer grant 740 stamina to allies hit by the initial heal of Grand Healing. Instead, the initial heal will restore 100 magicka and stamina to allies every second for 4 seconds. So just a little bit of a resource balance change to that one. They added a visual effect to when you get ultimate with the Hide of the Werewolf set. And the rest of the set changes here are just fixes to making sure the sets are running as intended. So there you guys go. That is all of the new sets and the changed sets with this new patch. I would love to hear your guys' opinions on the new sets. I am very excited myself for the build craft with these new guys. Honestly, they did a really good job with these new sets. There's some cool ideas here, and I really like how they've taken a real hybrid approach, especially with the crafted sets, so you have a huge variety of builds that you can do with some of these sets. So I'm really enjoying it. Of course, there is a lot more information in these patch notes, so be sure to check out the rest of my videos detailing what's going on in the patch notes. If they're not uploaded yet, they will be uploaded shortly within the next day for you guys, so look forward to that. If you guys enjoyed this video, hit that like button. If you guys are new here, feel free to hit that subscribe button. I create regular ESO content centralized around PvP, so be sure to stick around for more. If you guys want to send in any clips for the top 5 or send in a build to be featured on the channel, you can send it to KristoferESO@hotmail.com. More information down in the description below. If you guys are interested in any live gameplay from me, you can always check out my Twitch, a link to that bad boy down below as well. We're sponsored by What the Fast. They're a VPN for gamers. They give me better ping to my favorite games, and they are free to try for the first 30 days via the link in the description below. So be sure to check them out if you guys want to give them a shot. There's no credit card to sign up, so it's totally free and no harm, no foul if it doesn't give you guys what you're looking for. And then last but not least, Thank you guys so much for watching, and a big shout out to all my Patreons. Thank you guys so much for helping out with the channel and helping support me doing this job. Seriously, I love what I do here, and every episode I say it. Thank you guys, and I mean it. So thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for supporting, and I hope to see you next time. Look forward for more of those PTS patch notes review, and have a good night, guys.